welcome, Helena. Today we have Helena Wu with us. I met her on Instagram also from John Mayo's podcast. That's right. And then you're also from the astrophobing community, and you listened to
Mhm.
John's episode, and you reached out to me and wanted to collaborate on recording an episode and a business as well. And I'm so excited for that. And I'm so
Yeah,
glad you reached out to me. I remember I couldn't get back to you in time and you kept on calling me, and I'm so appreciative that you kept on doing that because I'm like, this girl's a beast. Like she
that's
is.
the way of the business. But keep following up.
Exactly. She is in it for the business. And but no, I love to have her here, and I haven't heard much of her story yet, so we're gonna all listen to it together, and hopefully she'll be able to give you guys some insight about how she left her 9 to 5. So welcome, Helena.
Yeah, thank you. Glad to be here.
So can you tell us a little bit about what you did before and what you're doing now?
Yeah, for sure. So I came from a finance background. I was born and raised back in China, and I came here for my master degree. And after that, I just went to work in financial industry, working on Wall Street as first of all asset manager, and then become an investment banker. And then I started reading books like Rich Dad Poor Dad, kind of got me interested in entrepreneurship, which is very interesting because from my education background, I've never thought about entrepreneurship. It's kind of opposite direction compared to what I was brought up with, like the red path, quote unquote red path. So reach that for that and then start looking into different, investment vehicle and figure out real estate is something that I'm really passionate about. And that's when I started doing some investment and then was able to quit my job because the real estate income. And now I'm a full-time real estate investor doing different strategies.
Nice, awesome. So tell us a little bit more about your journey. So how did you even hear? I mean, you told us a little bit, you read about it, but how did you even trust yourself to embark on this entrepreneurship journey?
Yeah, that's a very interesting question because with a high paid six figure W 2 and the comfortness of knowing the money is coming month over month is definitely taking a leap of faith to just drop everything and do this full time. And I think for me, it has three main reasons. The first one is I have really strong why. I have two whys. The first one is I know I want to build something that is generational and I know want to provide back to my family more than what I'm providing at this moment. And the way for me to get there is definitely do something on my own as opposed to working year over year because the speed is really slow and the ceiling is there. So I know I want to be able to have the time freedom to spend more time with my family, which is really important for me because they are far away overseas. So to be able to do my own thing allows me to have the time freedom. I will never be able to achieve that if I stay at a W 2. And the second reason is like when I had a pain that is so painful, I would never go back because I know whatever I come across in this journey will be better than going back to the original position. So because I have a really pain point, so that makes me realize any challenges along the way will be easy peasy when I think of going back to where I was. So that those are two whys. And I would say the last one is really self confidence because since I was a kid, everything I have ever set my eyes on, like I really try to accomplish, I put my effort into it, I manifest, I've accomplished every single thing, like all of them. So I know, okay, if I want to do it, I can for sure do it. So I think another one comes from self confidence. I know I can make it happen.
What were some of the pain points you were feeling in your old job?
Yeah, so not really being able to have time to do the things on the side, and also in finance industry, it has lots of regulation in terms of what you are allowed and you are not allowed to do. The job itself, the role is amazing. I like the thing I was doing, but I don't want to be like prisoned into this is the only thing you are allowed to do, and you cannot basically to do something on the side, which is another special characteristic about finance industry compared to let's say tech. Some people, if they're working at a tech company or startups, it's a lot more like open culture, right? You are encouraged to do your other things on the side. But for finance, which I fully understand because they have to have those regulations to make sure everything is in line. So I understand, but I just feel like it's not for me. And also, I remember I wasn't able to visit my hometown, which is back in China, for 5 years. And also among 5 years, like once I wanted to go back to visit, but because of the COVID and all of those things, my vacation days only gives me 14 days. But traveling back and forth itself is like 4 or 5 days already. And I haven't seen them for 5 years. I'm only staying for 9 days. I only have that freedom for 9 days. Just makes me realize, okay, it is not what I was working towards, because my why is to be able to provide better for my family and spend more time. So I'm working so hard, right? Climbing the career ladder to the opposite direction to where I want to go. Like, what's the point of doing that?
And what was the opposite direction that you found out that you were going towards that wasn't aligned with you?
It's definitely entrepreneurship, doing my own thing and being able to control the time, how I want to spend it, and do things that I want to do, I'm passionate about, with people who I like working with.
Yeah. You mentioned about you picked up Robert Kiyosaki's book, and a lot of them that was one of my first financial freedom book that I picked up, right? I didn't even know that term existed or that concept existed. How did you even get yourself to pick up that book? What was that story like for you? Were you already feeling the pain in the job that you went to pick the book, or what happened there?
Yeah, it's really interesting because I started reading books and I started listening to bigger podcasts because I was figuring out which investment vehicle I would be interested in. And I was drawn to real estate in the beginning. So I started listening to bigger podcasts. And I don't know if you remember, like when Brandon Turner was still the host of the show, at the very end of the show, he always asked guest speaker, what's your top three business books, or like something like that. And then a lot of people are talking about Rich Dad Poor Dad. I was like, okay, so sounds like this book is having huge impact on their life, because they were saying it completely changed my trajectory, life trajectory. It's the beginning of my yada yada yada. So I got curious and just bought it, just try it out. Who knows? I was not expecting anything from it, but as I was reading through it, I kind of got like panic attack, because it's telling you, if you keep doing this, you are collecting maybe 1,000 after you retire and cannot live off of a normal elderly life. You cannot buy grocery, like all that got me panicked for a second. I was like, no, 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 that's not gonna happen to me. Let me figure something out. And then story start from there.
Yeah. So it was from bigger pockets that opened your eyes to new possibilities, and then you picked up the book from Robert Kiyosaki.
Yeah. And exactly, that's like also when I open my eyes and open all my senses to opportunities, I collect cues. I see it as a cue, which is guiding me to read that book, which is exactly what I needed at that moment in my life.
Yeah, exactly. All the things lined up for you, and sounds very similar to my own experience. I started with bigger pockets because apparently all the rich people invest in real estate anyway. So, and I was curious about real estate, so I started listening to bigger pockets, and then I remember the section from Brennan Turner. Is that his name? That he was recommending all the books, and so very similar experience of how I started. And so, in your own journey, when you picked up the book and you heard this, hey, there's new things that you can do within an entrepreneurial life, was there at any point that you had some doubt inside of you of, well, that's new, I haven't done that before?
Yes, for sure. Yeah, especially the whole entrepreneur mindset is very new to me, because for entrepreneur, we are excited about solving problems, taking on challenges, and be comfortable with uncertainties and navigate through it, right? That makes me feel excited, like exhilarating right now, which is not how I was in the beginning, because I was so used to having that like certainty, the money coming in, the stability and comfortness of the role. Again, it comes back to the pain is strong enough, and I think for me is there's a voice in my mind. I can go back and just keep doing what I was doing, knowing that 100% I would be regretful 20, 30 years down the road. When I'm 60 years old, I would be regretful. I know that's the 100% the certainty result. Or I can keep doing this, give it a shot, and I have 50% chance of winning, 50% chance of probably back to the same situation. So there is only upside. So if you analyze it logically, there is no brainer. If you ask me to choose again, 50% chance of win, or even 1% chance of win, and then 9% chance of fail compared to 100% chance of fail, I'll still pick the first one. And also, another story I think Brandon Turner was talking about is when you are driving at night, you cannot see the whole like road in front of you, but the front light of the car will only light up, let's say, 7 feet or whatever you can see. But if you just follow that light in front of you, it will bring you home. So a lot of times when I have like a big goal, how am I going to get there? I just focus on the next week, the next month, the next quarter. What is my goal and break it down because I also got into manifestation. So I believe I don't know how to get there yet, but as I build my skills, build my experiences, and show up every day for myself, I build momentum and I'll track those opportunities and cues how to do the next step coming to me as opposed to I actively look out for them. I just show up and then I track them. So that's how I kind of overcome that fear.
I love that. I love that. And I'm sure you've learned a lot about yourself along the way of overcoming all those obstacles and all those uncertainties. What are some things
Mhm.
that you learned about yourself ever since you started your entrepreneurship?
I realized I am a really good entrepreneur actually, and it suits me better than being a W-2. But not gonna lie, since I was a kid, I never liked being regulated or like being ruled or being told to do something. Funny story is I left my hometown when I was 14 years old just for my middle school, high school education in a completely different place far away from my home. And like all the students doing that, they are living like onboarding school. It's not an onboarding school because most people attending that school, they are local in that city, but they did recruit some people outside of the city because they want to bring in better quality students, all that. So all of those students, they are living on board, like in a dorm with other people, and they have like a schedule in terms of when you need to go to study, when you need to do your homework, all of that. And I don't like being told what to do. So after the first week, the second week, I rent a place outside of the school and I live by myself because I feel like I want to be able to sleep when I want to sleep and I want to study when I want to study. Not someone tell me I'm supposed to do this thing at this time. And also another funny thing is the way I grew up is my parents always ask me, hey, what do you want to do? What is your decision? They never tell me. They will probably tell me, hey, what they think is the right way. And I will think of those suggestions critically. And if it's right, I'll consider. If it's not, like I just make my decision. And I don't ask them. I always just notify them, hey, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm not asking, can I do this right now? So I realized, okay, I'm never a good soldier in terms of listening to the guidance. And also when I was at W2, to be honest, I always feel like, yeah, I don't really want to be told what to do all day and not be able to control my schedule. So as I start being entrepreneur, it feels like the freedom is being released and all that, like my true characteristics is coming out. So that's definitely something new that I wasn't expecting before. And also like building those new mindset in terms of dealing with uncertainties and building like a team or working with people. I feel like I'm really passionate about doing all of that. I wasn't I did not want to be a leader before because I did not want to take on the responsibility all on my shoulder and I have to fix the situation or face the result if it did not pan out, for example. But now I think that's something I'm really passionate about. And I'm the person leading the company. I provide the vision and I'm more than happy to take on the responsibility to, make sure I'm building something like a platform for people in my company so that they can build their own business by leveraging my platform and blossom.
I love that. What did your parents say when you told them you were leaving the job? You went to America, study in America, right?
Yeah.
And then you leaving the job that you study for.
Good thing is they won't be able to listen to this podcast because they don't speak English, but I haven't told them yet. Yeah.
They- so they still think you're working remotely.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So pretty gladly they
And
cannot understand that.
yeah. And you're doing very successfully, I'm sure. And they're super proud of
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, probably in their mind.
Yeah.
But I will tell them one day. I just don't feel like the necessity of telling them right now. I don't want them to get worried. They probably won't
Hmm.
tell me to do something or like go
Right.
back or anything because
Hmm.
they're used to me making decisions for myself.
Yeah.
And they probably won't be super surprised, but I just don't want them to be worried.
Right. Yeah, for sure, for sure. And plus,
Mhm.
you are taking care of the family, and you're able to travel back and forth more often and spending more time with them. So I'm sure they appreciate that too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
And so, how did that happen? So you said you were starting the wholesaling while you were working the W-2, is that right?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
correct.
So how did the moment that you how when did you decide it was time for you to resign?
It's really hard to juggle both, to be honest. And I feel like it's not being responsible for my employer either because during the time I'm working, I feel like my mind is thinking of other stuff as well. And it's not be honest with the time that I am supposed to work there for them. I'm not giving the best version of myself to the role anymore. And I feel like it's cheating. It's stealing time from the job. Because if I do the job, I want to do my best. I want to bring result to the company. I want to increase the bottom line of the company, not just showing up and finish the task and be done with that. And I hate the feeling that it's not being honest, it's cheating because I'm supposed to do this, but I'm thinking of other stuff, right? I just don't feel like it's the best way of treating my employer. It's not honest, and it's not honest to myself either. So that's when I feel like hey, it's impossible to just do it outside of the working hour and not thinking about it during the working hour. So I need to be honest with myself and my employer.
Did you already have a steady stream of income coming in from the business that allowed you to do that, or are you just like, hey, I need more time on the business and I'm just gonna leave the W-2?
Because for wholesale, you are always doing the next deal. It's different from the pure passive income from like a multifamily or buy and hold. Although my vision for my wholesale company is to become a national franchise company, and at that point, I would be a business owner. So the business will be self-sustaining, self-independent itself, as opposed to me actively involved in all the transactions right now. So I wouldn't say I know a steady income coming, but also I just know deals will keep coming in and I'll make it happen.
Yeah.
So yeah.
You had that confidence in you already. That's since you were already doing that, right?
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
been doing it and like I just don't see why the deals will stop coming. There is no reason for that. I'm doing
Yeah.
the right thing.
Yeah. How did you prepare yourself financially then? Did you do anything to prepare yourself to leave the W-2 financially?
No, I did not. But also I know I heard that advice all the time and I always live by it, which is live below my means. Like if I, for example, make 10,000, I live below 4,000. Like I live definitely way below where I can spend. That's just how I do things until I use the cash flow to buy asset which produce cash flow first. That's when I level up my okay lifestyle and everything to the next level. But I wouldn't just spend a lot. So I know okay I can definitely control my expenses and I'm okay with that. And with that very conservative calculation, there is no way that I cannot pay my bills.
Right. Yeah, yeah. So you prepare yourself ahead of time, or you already have that kind of habit that allowed you
Yeah.
to leave the W-2 that way.
Mm.
Yeah. So in your business right now, looking back, was there anything that you learned from the W-2 that allowed you to succeed in the business right now?
Yeah, for sure. Like definitely lots of hard skills in terms of like being analytical, good with numbers, using Excel and all that, and just also the business sense in general because I came from business school and also work in finance in business. Just that business sense helped me to learn even faster when it comes to building a company, real estate, and all that. So I would say hard skills definitely help. But what helps even more would be some soft skills. For example, learn quickly. I I feel like I absorb knowledge at a lot faster pace compared to just regular people because I've always been trained to learn many things at the same time. right? And also the Asian fundamental education, we were just keep learning a bunch of stuff at the same time. So being able to learn quickly and self-sufficient in terms of to figure out the resources, how to solve the problem solving skills is also really critical, which I applied from my previous job to building my business. And also another really important thing is compartment. I talk that a lot with my team is when something happened in your day, you are able to compartmentalize and be done with it. Do not carry the emotion or result or anything to the rest of your day. That's how I was trained because my previous W2 role, things happen and under pressure and the mistake is at a more significant level because you are not just impacting yourself, you're impacting the whole team, the company, the valuation and all that. So the risk is very significant. And the more I'm scared of I'm not gonna make mistake, I'm not gonna do things wrong, the more likely we'll make mistake. It's just how it works. So what I did is just train myself. Okay, when I'm doing this, if anything happen, I'll compartmentalize. I don't carry the fear, the emotion, whatever to the rest of my day to make sure, okay, I still have the good mood. I bring the best version of myself to the job and just don't let things ruin my whole day, basically. That comes to entrepreneurship, building business as well, because you always face challenges, uncertainties, things that are not super pleasant happening. And even initial cold calling, right? If somebody did not treat you pleasantly on the cold call, are you just going to stop calling for the rest of the day or just carry the bad mood and be sad for the whole day? No, that's not going to happen. So being able to compartmentalize is also a really important skill that I built when I was at school, at my job, and that is super helpful on my current business.
It's a good point you touched on. Tell us a little bit more about how exactly you compartmentalize. Let's talk about cold calling. People do swear at you on the phone, they hang up on you.
Mm-hmm.
How do you do in your own mind to brush that off?
Yeah, that's very interesting. For example, for cold calling, like if you pick up the phone, hey, is this yada yada? Typically, before you even talk about what you want to talk about, like they just hung up on you or they are super, super rude, right? So it's not about you. It's them. They are rejecting opportunities from anyone. So it's not what you did made them mad or whatever. It's nothing about you. It's just they are the kind of people who say no to all opportunities. And they're just shutting the door and not accepting anything new coming into their life. And people like that, they just cannot maybe grow the same pace compared to other people because when God presents you opportunity in front of you, you are still saying no. It's like that story when God was trying to save you and you say no to getting onto the ship or whatever, something like that, that story. So then I realized, okay, it's really not about me what I did. If I change, if another person called that person, it will be the same response. So why am I upset about myself or get hung up on it because of someone else way of doing things? And another reason is it maybe something is going on with that person on it. Maybe it's a bad day for them. Something else is going on. I never know. Maybe, so I want to be more empathetic and compassionate about what potentially may be going on with that person. So if you look at it from a kind perspective, if their words doesn't sound so, I don't know, like so sore anymore. So I would say those two are the most important one. And also, interestingly, is sometimes if I just ask them, let's say, "Hey, hope you have a better rest of your day," or "Hope is everything going well on your side," like people do just show their true emotion. Like I see people break down on the phone like right away because they're really going through something, and sometimes the way they react to the external world is a reflection of their internal world and they're really struggling and they need help but they don't know how to ask for help or they don't know where they can go to ask for help. So when you say, hey, are you okay, can I help you with anything, like that's when they feel like okay, they are receiving the help they deserve and it's not like the end of the world. And I've heard many stories, it did not happen to me myself but happened to my friends when they're cold calling, like they even saved someone's life because a person was so close to the end of killing themselves because everything is going on in their life and that person was able to listen and even meet in person and just help and give love at the point that the person is most needed in his life. So I would say just don't take it personally, and also be understanding there may be something going on in another person's life that you don't understand or you're not seeing.
I love that you brought on and it happened to me also where I met a seller and then for some reason I was called to give her a hug. She was having a really bad day and then she told me afterwards like because of that small gesture that I did she felt the difference because she was gonna do something bad to herself. And so where does that love and your kindness come from? Where how did you learn to do that?
It's always thinking in another person's shoes, right? Yeah, it's because emotions happen to everyone. I would say just see the whole world from a nicer, more kind way, and be grateful. I think that's the source. Being super, super grateful. Every day I think of 5 things that I'm super grateful for, and those things just give me the energy. It raises my vibrance to a different frequency. And with that grateful heart, it's very easy to see the whole world in a nicer way.
Yeah, I love that. Just open up your heart and to see the beauty and the
Mhm.
opportunities around you. And that's why you mentioned that if the you're giving when you call them, you're giving them an opportunity to work with you. And if they don't receive it, then it's also on them. It's not has nothing to do about you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I always end my podcast by asking all my guests the same question. For somebody listening to this right now and they hear that nudge, they're in their W-2, say, hey, I'm meant for something more, but I don't know what's next for me. What's the one recommendation you would give them?
Yeah, only one.
Just one.
Just one, I would say, like reverse engineer what kind of life you want to spend, what kind of life you want to live. I don't know, 5, 10 years down the road. Okay, what business or what things is supporting that kind of lifestyle, and then reverse engineer. Plus, one plus or minus is just open your all your senses, your ears, your eyes, your mind, and you will receive cues from the universe. Sometimes you lay eyes on a book and you just happen to want to read it. You are pulled to read it for no reason, but because God is guiding you, the answer, the next step, the thing that is puzzling you, the answer is in the book.
Yeah, I love that. It's the universe always guiding us through our actions, and those emotions that we're feeling, those little nudges, are also signals from the universe as well for us to do something more with ourselves.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I'm
for sure.
so glad that you listen to those signals for yourself and you took those actions to listen to the podcast and read the book and then to get yourself to where you are, where you have full freedom and not having to be told what to do.
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes when you feel scared of doing something, that's probably when you are doing the right thing, as long as you take measured approach and take measured risk. Because if everything is comfortable, which means you are not pushing your boundaries, you are not pushing your extremity, you are not growing.
Yeah, I love that. And where we're not growing, we're dying.
Yes.
It's never a plateau. So thank you so, so much, Helena, for your time with us today. And for anybody who wants to come find you, where can they find you?
Yeah, you guys can find me on Instagram, which is my first name, last name, Helena Wu, and the word abundance. So Helena Wu Abundance is my Instagram. And I have the link tree. You can follow my other social media or other resources I provide for free on my Instagram.
Yeah, absolutely. And she's definitely a beast in terms of the real estate investment world. Can you tell us a little bit more, actually? What are you doing right now in the real estate?
Yeah, sure. So mainly two things. One is, oh, actually mainly three things. One is I'm running a wholesale company. We are in Florida market right now, doing over 7 figure per year revenue wise. And the vision for that is to become a national franchise company. So we're going into another 2 markets this year. Now we're doing deals all over Florida. So real estate, and another side is I'm buying apartment complexes, multifamily, things like that. Acquired just over 400 doors last year in the multifamily field. We'll keep acquiring more. Another 4 to 5 deals is the goal for this year. And additionally, I'm also buying some smaller units like single family, small multifamily creatively. And then I use them as midterm rental, short term rental, or group housing.
Wow, that's amazing. And how long have you been doing this?
A year and a half.
Wow. Holy cow. Well, congratulations on all the success you built in your real estate investment. Looks like definitely sounds like you're in the right place for yourself.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that.
Thank you so much, Helena. And for you guys, we'll see you at the next episode. Bye.